Spills, leaks, and runoff from poor storage practices can reach our local waterways via catch basins and storm drains without receiving wastewater treatment. When this occurs, the material from runoff can have long-lasting impacts on the health of your local community and the environment. That's why it's so important to properly store and manage chemicals, used tires, spent batteries, and other materials and waste streams. Proper storage will prevent runoff and water contamination from outdoor storage, provide containment, be resilient in the case of a natural disaster, reduce the risk of spills and leaks, ensure the safe storage of flammables and incompatible materials, and protect worker safety. That's why it's necessary to train your staff how to move, handle, and store various materials, routinely inspect all storage containers, including dumpsters, and respond timely and appropriately in the case of a leak or spill. First, we'll discuss some higher-level BMPs, then move into specific BMPs for indoor and outdoor storage. General preventative measures to follow that apply to both indoor and outdoor storage include: minimize the inventory and toxicity of materials stored on-site. Design resilient storage structures and containment to avoid spills and leaks as a result of accidents, earthquakes, and flooding. Train staff in proper handling and movement of stored materials for personnel safety and minimization of releases. Implement and train staff to a spill prevention and response plan. Place spill kits near material storage areas to enable immediate cleanup of spills or leaks. Here's an example of an EcoBiz spill plan. For additional information, please see our video on spill preparedness. Store all liquids, including automotive fluids such as bulk oil or used oil, in tightly sealed, tip-proof containers. Keep container lids closed, except when dispensing or adding to the container. Use secondary containment for all 55-gallon containers of chemicals or wastes. Secondary containment may be actual containers and/or berms. The volume must be 110% of what it's containing. Clearly label all of these containers. Inspect material and waste storage areas often for container deterioration, dumpster integrity, and signs of any leaks. Store flammables in fire cabinets per OSHA requirements. Segregate incompatible materials based on physical and chemical properties to prevent the possibility of fire or explosion. Check the product's safety data sheet for incompatibilities. Follow all hazardous waste storage and regulations. You can learn more about hazardous waste storage in our hazardous waste video, which is linked at the end of this video. Please note that indoor storage is the best option and is required for spent batteries. But here are a few best management practices specific to storing materials outdoors. Never block or impede an exit route or door. OSHA stipulates no storage within 3 feet of any fire exit door. Avoid storing any combustibles near lights or heat sources. Provide proper ventilation. If spillable liquids are stored on shelves or stacked, use earthquake-proof means of securing containers to avoid toppling and spills. A waste stream which requires important attention is the storage of used lead-acid batteries, which are prone to self-discharge. Acid spills from lead-acid and EV batteries can be highly hazardous to people and pollute air and water. First, make certain that the removed battery is not damaged and actively leaking acid. If the battery is leaking acid, wear proper PPE, place it in a cardboard box with baking soda, place a trash bag around it, and take the leaking battery to a hazardous waste facility or collection event. Never place any battery directly into the trash, but especially a leaky or compromised battery. Second, clean the battery. Grime can cause batteries to self-discharge quickly. Third, always store batteries indoors in a dry room. as humidity can cause self-discharge. Lastly, store all spent batteries on spill trays. Spill trays are fairly inexpensive and are the best insurance for preventing acid spills. Additional BMPs specific to outdoor storage are as follows. Ensure the materials are elevated off the ground, and the top and sides of the storage area are covered, preventing exposure to the elements. In addition to overhead cover, store liquid chemicals and wastes in labeled and leak-proof containers with secure lids. If berms are used as the method of secondary containment, minimize water contamination by installing berms that divert stormwater away from the stored materials. Outdoor storage of tires, whether new or used, can leach zinc and 6-PPD to the ground and ultimately into our waterways. Both chemicals are toxic to marine life. 6-PPD quinone is a preservative that helps tires last longer and reacts with ozone in the atmosphere. In 2020, a group of researchers pinpointed this chemical as a killer of coho salmon. Additionally, high amounts of zinc in water causes the destruction of fish-gilled tissue. Lower amounts accumulate in their tissue, causing gastric and other distress. We already mentioned covering tires and storing tires off the ground. This is especially important for tires to prevent rain and sun exposure, which can accelerate the release of zinc and 6-PPD. Keep combustible storage at least 10 feet from outer walls of any buildings. Outdoor storage of scrap metal should be stored in a covered recycling container. Always keep waste dumpster lids closed to avoid pooling water, which can leak as dumpsters deteriorate. During regular inspections of chemical and liquid containers, always inspect dumpster integrity and look for evidence of leaks. Call your waste hauler immediately if any issues are detected. Remember, spills and leaks that occur or reach the exterior of your facilities and runoff from storage of tires and other materials outdoors can reach the stormwater sewer and move untreated into our rivers, lakes, and streams. Zinc and 6-PPD from tires are toxic to aquatic life, while spilled chemicals can wreak all kinds of havoc in the environment. Store materials safely and securely, both indoors and outdoors, to minimize environmental impacts and to reduce health and safety risks to your staff and the community. Reach out to EcoBiz for a free spill kit and technical assistance.